In this chapter, we're going to talk about communication in our workplace relationships. We're going to talk about several different kinds of relationships that we can form at work, including the supervisor-subordinate relationships, peer relationships, and we'll even delve into the potential for romance in the workplace. When we talk about relationships at work, it's important for us to remember that many people spend as much time at work as they do at home with their families and friends. Some people even spend more time at work. And therefore, the workplace is a key site for relational development, and we create all kinds of different relationships within the workplace. One of those relationships that we develop is the relationship between a supervisor and a subordinate. Now, the supervisor-subordinate relationship can be based in a lot of different places. It can be based in mentoring, in friendship, or potentially in romance. And it includes two people, one of whom has a formal authority over the other. So there's a power differential between the two individuals within this relationship, whether it's a friendship or a romance. And that power differential can play out in a number of different ways. But one of the roles that supervisors play in the workplace is that supervisors are key providers of information to their subordinates. Supervisors have what we call information power, which means that they process information that the employees need to do or need to have in order to do their jobs. And they possess that information and they need to be able to give that information to their subordinates. But in addition, supervisors are usually also tasked with giving their employees formal and informal feedback on their job performance. And feedback from supervisors has a really significant impact on the way that employees behave in the workplace. Really positive feedback can motivate employees, whereas negative feedback might motivate them, but actually supervisors are likely to avoid giving negative feedback if possible, because they don't necessarily want to be seen as the quote-unquote bad guy, right? And all of this being said, we're all aware that some supervisors are definitely better than others. And in some of these relationships, the power differential is really felt between the supervisor and the subordinate, and the supervisor very much makes themselves appear to be higher than. But in other supervisor-subordinate relationships, in healthy ones, there's very much a conversation, a back and forth that happens between the supervisor and the subordinate, and each is helping the other to improve in their workplace. And that brings me to the concept of the mentoring relationship. The mentoring relationship can be super influential in establishing or advancing a person's career. In a mentoring relationship, one person generally functions as the guide and helps the other to navigate their career goals. And if there is one thing that I can recommend when it comes to your future careers, is to find yourself a mentor who can be this guide for you. I was so fortunate to find a handful of mentors when I was in college, and I am lucky enough to have had them as teachers, and now I get to call them my friends and my colleagues. And I know that they are there for me. I know that I can rely on them to give me a good reference for a job that I'm applying to. I know that if I am having an issue with a student, or if I get an email that I'm not sure about, I can send them a quick text and ask them if they've ever dealt with a similar situation, and they can help me to navigate those situations. And so I cannot speak highly enough of finding a mentor that is helpful to you and who can really help you to navigate in your career goals. And once you get established in your career, to try to be that mentor for other people as well. Because hopefully, as you progress in your career, you might find yourself in these higher up or supervisor type situations. And being able to be that mentor for someone can mean so much to their career as well. And so, as we can see, these supervisor-subordinate relationships play a really important role in the workplace. It not only helps to keep the workplace functioning, but it also helps the individuals within the workplace to continue to grow into their careers.